I have chosen to speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty, stewardship. This is the England I know, and this is the England that I love. On a farm, you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons. You think in generations, in what you leave behind to those who come after you. And that's why, here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding, and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election. This process has already started, with invitations being issued to patriots in aligned political parties, Reform, the Conservatives, the SDP, Advance, and more. In local politics, we will work in partnership with localised political parties, such as Great Yarmouth First, that have the best interests of their residents at heart, combining our forces at the next general election. The men and women standing for Restore in that election will not be politicians. I promise you that. They will not be failed ministers. They will not be tainted by failures of the past. They will be from business, from the military, from science, from medicine, from education, from industry, representing real communities up and down the country. Every single one will be from well outside the existing political establishment, and every single one will understand the difficult decisions that need to be taken, because there are no easy fixes. I'm not going to tell you comforting lies about the condition of our country. I have only ever been honest with the British people, and I will be straight with you now. What is necessary will be incredibly painful. But for the first time in a very long time, voters will have a genuine alternative which is truthful with them about the scale of what now has to be done. The first priority is to control who comes to our country, and more importantly, who stays in our country. Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Every single illegal migrant will be securely detained and then deported. The message will be unrelenting. If you are in this country without our permission, you will be removed. For the foreseeable future, far more people must leave.
We need that worldwide, really.
Britain than arrive.
All the Christian Western nations, we need that.
If a foreign national is unable to speak English, lives in social housing, claims benefits, refuses to work, fails to integrate, commits crime, or even actively hates our way of life and wishes to do us harm, then they must leave or be made to leave. Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you. If that means millions go, then millions go. We're
The left will be screaming racism.
constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of low-skilled migrants. We know that's simply not true. What we need is to get millions of healthy Brits back into work. A radical overhaul of how welfare is delivered. Protecting those in genuine need, but not funding healthy shirkers to live off the back of hard-working men and women. If you can work, you must work. It really is that simple. Restore Britain will be abundantly clear. If you consistently refuse work, then you will lose your benefits. We will punish indolence, and more importantly, we will reward success. We will provide vast economic incentives for men and women to start businesses, generate opportunities, build wealth, and create self-sufficient families. Standing here today on the farm, I know exactly what it means to deal with energy bills, labor shortages, regulation, unproductive paperwork, planning restrictions, tax, and endless uncertainty. The state has definitively become the enemy of the people. Restore Britain will burn away suffocating taxes on work and enterprise. We will slash unnecessary regulation. We will dismantle bloated quangos and the overbearing HR culture. We must crush parasitic
I have no clue what a quanger is, but
Britain. We will restore long-term, stable, logical policy so that businesses can plan and invest and grow again. But Restore Britain is about much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people. Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea. Britain is not just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased. We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. Responsibility, restraint, forgiveness, duty, and fairness. In short, a high-trust society. That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law. A Restore Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer, and more prosperous place for British men and women to raise their families. It will be difficult, and it will be painful. But I assure you, it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey and becoming a member of our party. It is our country. It is now
it's basically Britain first.
Our collective responsibility to act. Together, we will restore Britain. Thank you.
Amen. So anyways, I'm with him on that. I'm going to be doing a couple of interviews I did with Jayda Fransen. I was hoping Colin would be in here because this has been the main reason I'm doing it, because he wanted to see him. But here we go. And I'm going to pull myself out of the picture, so I'll be in chat. I'll be watching in chat, but my previous self will be on here. So I'm going to pull myself out, and then I'm going to start the video. Well, I'll start the video, then I'll pull myself out. Hold on. I got to find the right tab. There we go. Okay. Let me pull myself out, and then we'll go. Hopefully Colin will pop in here soon. This one right here.
I'm really imploring the people and all the peoples around the world, for God's sake, stop giving your democratically elected governments the benefit of the doubt. They are not deserving of that.
I'll be in chat.
They are not. Stop rationalizing whatever your government is doing. Stop rationalizing and come up with some good intentions. They have no good intentions. Never. As I said before, in the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite concerned about the well-being of regular people. And it isn't any different now. Why should it? Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because I can tell you, you cannot comply your way out of a tyranny. It is impossible. Trying to do so, you will only feed a gigantic alligator in the hopes of being eaten last. But guess what? Your turn will come, and then you will be the one swallowed up. I also have to ask the people, end your silence. Speak up. For God's sake, stop complying. Start rebelling. They're out to get you if you do not resist. I would also urge you to stop voting for those who inflict this psychological abuse on you, who mock you for their own good. in order to deal with this unfree world, to defy this unfree world, I have decided to become so absolutely free that my very existence is an act of rebellion. And that's what we all need to do.
Here. do you know of Cindy?
Yeah, I know of her. Yeah, and never a truer word spoken. Like, she's literally everything I've been thinking for the past few years. She just put into words. So let's hope people listen.
Well, is she in any power there, really, or she's not like the one lady from Italy, is she?
No,
like
it's not. No, but I mean, there are a lot of MEPs, people that are involved in the European Parliament, and they get a chance to speak. And a lot of the time, they're in a bit of an echo chamber. You know, they've got because you won't get a huge audience in the European Union listening to that. They wouldn't entertain it. But no, look, there are some outspoken people, and there have been throughout the COVID scandemic, particularly on the vaccines. And God bless these people. We need them. We absolutely need them. But if people don't listen to them, then, you know, what are you going to do? In the UK, like, I think everybody just loves being controlled. That's what the vibe that I'm getting. Seems that way here. So I want to introduce you to Crystal. She's from California. She's fighting against the California area there, what's going on. And we were going to talk about the fires. She's done a lot more on it. She just recently, last night, did a show on the fires, didn't you, Crystal? In fact, I'll bring across it.
Yes, it was one night ago. It was very late, and this is very early for me. But yeah, we were streaming it. I think
I believe these were the fires in not the ones in Hawaii, not the ones in LA. Yeah,
I think it was 10:30 p.m. California time.
Yeah, which makes it like 1:30 a.m. here. And although Jayda, you're up half the night. I see you posting on Twitter half the night. You don't sleep, I guess.
I don't sleep much. There's a lot of work to be done, so plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. But it's nice to meet you, Crystal. I didn't see your report, but I know that there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, so I'll look out for it.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, basically, I had a person that studies trees, and he calls himself a forensic arborist, and so he was able to go back and he made 106 trips to, I wrote it down, 38 different fires that happened out here in California, really all over the place. I think some other states as well. And he was able to pretty much prove that they're not started by just wildfires, that instead they are started by directed energy weapons.
Yeah, I seen the thing there where you had all these house trailers that were all burnt. Not one tree around it was burned.
Yes, and turns out he was able to name the one tree that is here in California. I forget the name of it.
Type of tree, yeah.
It's like a pine type of needle, and
it should burn up like that.
Yeah, and they normally would just, he was just basically saying that's one part of the tree that would burn, and it wasn't burning, but all the homes were just decimated, just taken down, taken out.
I guess this was the LA area fires as well as the Maui ones.
But yeah, you'd have green patches, and then you would also have plastics left behind, like trash cans. The ones that that there was just basically they were sending crews in before they let people come back into their land, and they would remove it like all discreetly, like try to take out the plastics. The plastics would normally burn up, but they were not burning. And so he somehow talked about like it's like a microwave type technology where, if you put plastic in a microwave, it's okay. But if you put something that's metal or aluminum, it's going to not be okay and melt. So he was kind of proving that theory.
Well, they're trying to take the land there. Like up in Canada, Jamie was going to come on and talk about up there where the fires got started, which she has trouble with talking about it because she's the C-11 bill.
Who's this?
Jamie from Canada, who's going to come on with us.
Okay.
She owns a business, so sometimes it's hard this early. Anyways, they're now, because of the fires, they're confiscating land. The emergency powers, because of this fire, they're confiscating land from people, kicking them off the land.
I think they're taking. I really feel like it's an attack against white people. I think it's even a specific group of people as well, because if you look at Paradise, California, where they just took most of that land, most of those people were white.
Well, I think it's because it's valuable land, too.
That too, but there's also something going on.
It's valuable. In any case, it's hard to tell. So while you're still on, I wanted to. What was the other issue going on in California? They laws they're trying to change on the trans and the things out there. They're trying to make it so if you misgender someone, they can put you in jail.
I haven't followed everything about it, but I already know Hollywood is pretty much so jacked up. They're, revealing themselves now. I mean, even your granny knows what a drag queen is because of all the crazy stuff that's going on. Like, normally not everybody would know what that word meant, but now everybody knows. And they're just, they're trying to pass laws so that they can take your child away if you don't go along with them coming home and acting like they're the opposite sex.
Wow.
What's happening in England in terms of that?
Well, we're a bit preoccupied at the moment, but we have some of the most draconian hate speech laws anyway, and we don't have a constitution, so we're already on the back foot. But people in the United Kingdom are under this illusion. They're mistaken, but they're under this illusion that we have freedom of speech. We have no such rights. We don't have a constitution. We don't have a Bill of Rights. In fact, today marks the 808th, I think, anniversary of the signing of the Magna Carta, which was our Bill of Rights. But it's no longer effective. It's no longer in force. And so we don't have freedom of speech. I've been convicted myself of numerous counts of hate speech. And in fact, the last time they convicted me of hate speech, I gave a speech at a rally that was being held. It was being held by a politician in Northern Ireland, and they invited me to give a speech. And I went along and I spoke out against terrorism, which you think was kind of an all right subject to speak out against. But they hauled me into the police station and they said, and this was what sparked the whole retweet thing with President Trump, because the arrest made headlines. It was so crazy. But when they picked me up, they gave me a charge sheet. And honestly, this is what the charge sheet said. It said, you're being arrested because you gave a speech which was anti-Islamic in nature. And those were the words on the charge sheet. And
well, it was because there were rape gangs. There was rape gangs going around.
Yeah. I confronted some rape gangs.
So you're protesting against the rape gangs.
Yeah. But I mean, those words, right? Anti-Islamic in nature. Okay. Well, let's say it was anti-Islamic in nature. This isn't Pakistan. This is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So, since when did we have blasphemy laws that protected other or any religion? So we already have really strict rules on, not calling a he or she. And we have police literally going into mothers' houses and arresting them in front of their children for saying on Twitter that a man is a woman or vice versa, because these people like to pretend. People like to cut things off and stick things on and say that they're the opposite sex, but it will never be the case. So it's pretty bad here. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Crystal, would you believe she was arrested and put in jail for 9 months, and her home was taken and sold, and all her properties?
She looks just like a doll. I mean, like she's just a shining example of truth. I just can't imagine something.
They did that because she was against the rape gangs.
Yeah. They don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. There was a gang of rapists here, and a child went into a takeaway. Because a lot of the fast food restaurants here, they're run by immigrants, and a lot of them are illegal immigrants, but we've just got open borders. You wouldn't imagine, like, we're an island, and we've defended our island against armadas successfully before we had any form of technology. Yet here we are, unable to stop these new people coming in on dinghies, literally hundreds of them every single day. So these men had run a fast food restaurant, and a child went in, and she was lost. And she asked for directions, and instead of giving her directions, they kidnapped her, took her to the flat upstairs, and they raped her, 4 of them, 4 times each.
Oh, wow.
So
but if she says something about that, she can be arrested, thrown in jail, and all her property's taken.
Yeah.
So you defended that?
I did. I leafleted their neighbours as well, and I said, listen, these guys are out on bail. And in fact, one of the neighbours, whom I won't mention their name for their own security, because these guys are out soon, And let me tell you, I'm waiting. I'm very patient. They got 14 years each, these men. I got 9 months. I'm here. I'm waiting for them to get out. But one of the neighbours contacted me and said that these guys were all out on bail in the same community where they had committed this atrocity against this child. And they were trying to encourage other young girls to work for them in this kebab shop. And so the neighbours said, listen, like, the reason I went to that part of England to go and protest this and to leaflet the neighbours and tell everyone is because I had so many messages coming in. People contact me because I was like the go-to person if you heard about grooming gangs, because I used to go after them, right? So they had said, can you come to this area and expose this? Because they're all on bail and they've just gang raped a child. Like, it's just incredible.
Oh, this is terrible. I mean, how were you treated in jail when you went to jail? I guess you already talked about that, huh?
Yeah.
She was on about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was less than a month when I was here before. But yeah, it was interesting. They threw me down the block, down the hole for the first 6 weeks. They put me in segregation because there were like Islamic terrorists up in Gen Pop, in the general population, and so they were worried. Well, first of all, they said that I was going to radicalize people, so I had to be kept away. And then they said, you know, what are you going to do?
Speaking Christianity.
Yeah, radicalize these Christians to love the Lord, you know, scary stuff. But they had these terrorists upstairs, and actually, so what happened? It was quite a strange set of circumstances. One of the most bizarre situations I've ever found myself in, actually. So they had me down the hole for 6 weeks in this first jail, and then they moved me to another one. And the other one, they put me in Gen Pop. But what happened at the original jail where all the terrorists were, they paid, you'll love this, they paid a trans inmate, a man, to kill me, right? So I had a price on my head. Oh, and they hired this hit, and they said, so anyway, they moved me to this other jail, not because of that. The screws didn't know about that. The government, well, they say they didn't, but I'm sure they did. And this tranny turns up at the next jail, ready to kill me. So it was an interesting time. You know, look, I laugh about it, but you're talking about real
life and death.
Like, yeah, life and death situations, and all of it, if you bring it all back, it's because I called the rapists, I said 4 words, right? I called them dirty, Muslim, raping bastards. Excuse my language, but those are the 4 words that I said. Now, 2 of those are subjective, you can argue, but there are 2 of those words that are fact, and they were Muslim, that was a fact, and they were rapists, they've been convicted, that was a fact. So the 2 words technically that I went to jail for was calling gang rapists dirty bastards, and they jailed me for 9 months.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. And I guess the tranny didn't, you know, he didn't kill you, obviously. You know, you must have converted him to Jesus. Maybe.
You know what? Well, yeah, it was an interesting one. So he was really confused, obviously, right? And was in this woman's jail, and the whole thing was crazy. And this is a big black guy, right? And
oh gosh, dressed up like a woman.
Yeah, like, it's just crazy. And so he had all these tattoos on his arms. And you know, when you see someone, he walked in, and I didn't know there was a hit out on me, but he walked in, and I looked at him, and I thought, this man has been hired to kill me. I just instinctively knew. I thought,
from God, probably.
This is it. Yeah, yeah. And the funny thing is, actually, I said, look, when he approached me in my cell, and I basically thought, look, you know, what are you going to do? The Lord is with me. I'm sure of that anyway. But when it's your time, it's your time. So I wasn't fearful, to be honest. But I just said, look, there better be a good reason for you being in my cell. And the long and short of it, we ended up speaking quite a bit in there, and I spoke to him about all these tattoos that he had. He had different tattoos, and at one point he was dressed in, like, his headgear was like Sikh. He said he was a Sikh. He was following the Sikh religion, and he had Islamic tattoos on his arms. And I said, like, do you know what you're looking for? Like, you're looking for Jesus. That's what you're looking for. You think you're a man or a woman or a Sikh or a Muslim, and you're not sure what you are. And I said, you know, there's a massive gaping hole, and there's a void in your life, and it's Jesus.
Oh, that's
so, you know, I think all these things happen for a reason, but it was certainly an interesting time.
Well, that didn't come out the way they wanted it to.
No. Convert the hitman.
That's amazing. That's really great.
God was with you that day. I tell you that.
Always.
Yeah, but although the Muslim community is standing up against the trans changing the kids over here in America, isn't that true, Crystal?
I've heard that as well. I mean, I looked up the bill. Basically, the California Assembly Judiciary Committee advanced a bill Tuesday. That was 2 days ago, right? This week,
right.
aimed at protecting LGBTQ plus youth that encourages parents to affirm their child's gender identity, basically. So it looks like what I said.
It looks like you can arrest your parents for not going along with it.
Yeah,
not just take the kid away. They can arrest them. Is what I heard.
Yeah, California lawmakers moved forward with a measure that require courts to consider a parent's accepting of their child's gender, so they just come home and, out of confusion because they hung around or saw something and just get confused. It's just crazy. They can say they are the opposite sex, and if the parent doesn't go along with it, looks like the parent gets in trouble.
Yeah. Do you have that in England?
Yeah, well, similar. I mean, it's funny because I noticed earlier, I actually ran a story on it earlier, that the city council, there's such a disparity. I know that, the United States of America is huge. So in comparison to the United Kingdom, we're talking about, vast amounts of land. But the disparity in different states never ceases to amaze me. I saw earlier that you mentioned the Muslim community standing up against the LGBT stuff. I saw a story that a Michigan city council, they just had a council meeting. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like a bizarre. So you had apparently they've got.
I follow you on Twitter. I've seen it.
Yeah. So they've got like an all.
Those other comments you're seeing come up on the right side there. Some of them are from other platforms like YouTube and that.
All Muslim council, an all Muslim government, which is obviously a tragedy in itself, right? In the United States, they've got this all Muslim council. And actually, I read a report that in 2008, the Christians had gone to the Muslim community because there were vast numbers of them and said, look, can you back us up against this LGBT stuff? Because they're coming for the kids. This is back in 2008. And lo and behold, now there's an all-Muslim panel, and they've just banned flying the pride flag out on public buildings, and which is commendable. And I've also seen
you can have one, but the public building doesn't have one.
That's right, yeah. So you can have it on your private land, but what on earth has the sodomy flag got to do with? It shouldn't be publicly funded, because if we're going to, and the Muslims were quite right on this. What they asserted was, if you want us to respect you, like we know you exist, but your way of life, your life choices are in direct contradiction of our religious beliefs. And that's the same that applies to me as a Christian. So I support their argument and I support their decision to ban the flag. But it was interesting that at the meeting, the lesbian representatives of the pro-pride flag LGBTQ+ community saw the best way to engage in the protest was to kiss in front of this council meeting, which is like, religious people. And I just thought, if you expect us to take you seriously when you're behaving like that, we've seen where this goes. We let you have the flag. We let you get married. You're parading through the streets. You're waving your genitals in our children. Like, this is where this is gone now. So it's really.
But their pedophilia is the issue. The pedophilia.
But that's what this is all about. This is all fetish towards pedophilia. And look, and it grieves me to say this because I have major issues with Islam, as you know. I've been very clear on that for the last decade or so. But it is, in fact, the Islamic community in the United Kingdom and throughout the West that are now saying, no, we're not having this. And I just wish that Christians would read their scripture and realize that we are not being called. We're not called in the scriptures to tolerate this degeneracy. We need to take a leaf out of the Muslims' book here and say, leave our children alone. Stop indoctrinating them.
So check this out. I just pulled up this bill, and this is what they do. They like to sneak this through, and then it's now going to the Senate. So this is a bill, Assembly Bill 957, is heading to the Senate floor despite concerns from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle as how courts will interpret the measure. So multiple senators in Tuesday's hearing this week indicated they want Wilson to clarify in the bill if gender affirmation solely means acceptance and support for the child's identity, or if it also includes providing gender-affirming health care, including surgery and medication And so basically, as I'm reading through this, I'm kind of realizing this is so much more scarier than, I even imagined. So it looked like that the child can go and literally change sexes with this surgery, and it's going beyond medication. We've seen already in Hollywood, and we've heard about this, that the parents will switch the children at birth. They'll if they have the boy, they'll make them girls. And we see, people came out and said Tina Turner was really a man, and I was taken back. But the more I watched a lot of the footage, I started realizing, hey, maybe they are correct in some of these people, in Hollywood. And it's hard to imagine, but they're already doing it in Hollywood. And then if you watch the celebration they have they're not just saying Pride Month for June for this community. They're going on for 6 weeks in Hollywood, and they're celebrating, they're politicizing the gay people, and they are politicizing all this agenda.
There's some gay people that are against this whole grooming and all that. True.
They're just using them, really, and it's just sad. But I mean, really, this kind of falls into what they were already doing, is what I'm trying to say. The model, the big Golden Globe model, Hollywood, and they're just trying to make it happen everywhere beyond.
So, Crystal, that legislation that says that the parents are not just bound to be supportive, but they're also bound to go along with any gender affirming care, including surgery, where that law applies or will apply.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. This is in California. Now, California, when they did the Roe v. Wade and they overturned it, what they did was they just went harder. And here in our state, in California, if you want to have, let's say, abortion, this was about the abortion situation, they will fly you in from anywhere, probably anywhere in the world. I would not just stay in the United States, and pay for it and put you up in hotels and take care of that. And this looks like California is looking like to be a leader in this gender affirmation, child custody type situation bill that's looking to get approved. So it looks like California is trying to lead this again, and it looks like
the care that the parents are now bound to provide, this gender affirming, which is child mutilation. Do the state pay for that, or the parents legally obliged to pay for that? How does that work?
I would. I'm just looking into this because we don't have children, and I would probably assume that they would give money for it, and it hasn't passed. Looking into
I always look at the situation with the healthcare across the United States, right? We have an NHS service here, which we all pay into via our taxes, but basically anyone can turn up on a dinghy at our shores and is entitled to free healthcare, free education, free welfare, all of it. And so what I find really interesting is, in the United States, I'm aware of the fact that there are some people that, you have private healthcare, so you have to have insurance. But this seems to be the exception. Like the respective states that are pro-LGBT are literally saying, we will pay for this. Like, if you get in an accident and you haven't got healthcare, you haven't got insurance cover, then you're screwed. But if your child wants to mutilate themselves, or if you want to mutilate your child, we will pay for it. And that, I think, just shows, because these people are all about money. Everything for them is money, money, money. The fact that they are willing to pay for that, it just shows how heinous this whole thing is.
Yeah, it's
well, that with the abortion too, that their solution, since a lot of states are cutting way back down to less weeks that you can have the abortion, all that. Oh, we'll fire you in. Even they believe in killing the kid after birth as well, for saying this after birth.
I saw that in infanticide. They said, I saw they were trying to pass. I don't know if they did pass this bill, but they were saying that you could basically kill the baby after birth via neglect for like 30 days.
Or something. That's already a law there, isn't it, Crystal?
I was just looking at this. What I'm doing is I'm just looking up this stuff on the gender, and I was reading this, and I can't believe this. This is a little bit of kind of where we're talking, but there's another bill here in California that they're trying to pass. They're doing so many of them at the same time. So California bill would require school employees to notify parents if child identifies as transgender. So it looked like they try to catch the situation right there in the school and document it, and then the parent gets trapped like this. So this is just nuts. Teachers
didn't some of the things, they don't allow comments on some of that stuff now? They've made so many people were against it that they stopped block comments?
Probably. I mean, who the hell would really be for this? I mean, there's nobody in the world. I mean, there's this very small percentage that's going to go along with this crap.
Right. But the drug companies love this stuff.
Of course they do.
Because you're treated for the rest of your life then.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And it says that some bill would require school employees to notify parents in writing when a student uses segregated school programs, such as joining an athletic team or using the bathroom facilities that do not align with sex in their official records. California law currently protects students' privacy on this matter. I mean, this is just going on. I could probably just look all day.
Well, you were one of the first places that had men in bathrooms.
Oh yeah, they changed the bathrooms over. You know, they have the both women and man on most every public bathroom now.
But you had a lot more rapes when that first started, right?
I didn't keep up with it. I hope not.
Well, I think
especially in the kids' ages.
Reading between the lines, though, right? They put those bills through. The second one that you read out was really interesting because what they're proposing, ostensibly, people would be supportive of, because I've seen there have been several incidents where children have gone home and their parents have discovered that the school have actually changed the child's gender and started transitioning without the parents being told. And I've seen this happen in the UK and in the US. So the parents have found out later down the line, a long way down the line, that for months the school has been calling the child by the opposite pronouns. Right? Now, so ostensibly, that second bill sounds like a good idea. It's saying that the onus is on the school to report to the parents if a child is displaying these tendencies towards these gender issues. But actually, what you said, you hit the nail on the head. That it's round the back door. That's nailing the parents to the wall, because basically what they're doing is, as soon as you get that letter home, absolutely. As soon as you get the letter home from the school saying, "Oh, by the way, little Jimmy says that he's now little Janie," and you have to affirm that. Right?
He's got a bow in his head at school. You don't even know it. He's trancing around with a little dress on or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these teachers and counselors are pushing these kids.
They probably have clothes in the closet, like of the ops. They're probably all little devils like that. I don't know it's just you never know what they're really doing behind the scenes. You don't know what's really going on.
There's recordings of a Muslim community where they were trying to force them to do the pride stuff, and some kids have walked out of the classes and stuff and taken the stuff down, the pride stuff that they were being crammed to do. It's one thing to have it, another thing to cram it down the throat.
And if you say, "I'm not going to support pride, I'm gonna ban your stores," well, I'm sorry, you won't be shopping anywhere. You won't be going to Target, Walmart, Macy's. You won't be going to most all department stores have this in there. And I look at it like God's rainbow. I take it. I'm just like, you know what? This is God's rainbow. They actually kind of got that right. They have a covenant. It's almost like they're reaching out and they're asking for the covenant. And they just need to understand that their identity is in Christ. It's like they're almost there. They're missing.
Yeah, they're missing
I don't know. How about the tuck it underwear? Tuck their.
Well, I'm not talking about the people that make the clothes. I'm just talking about that they're missing the color indigo blue, which is wisdom and revelation. And so if they could just get that, and God loves everybody. So I think the gays are just being used so hard right now. And I have friends that are gay, that actually are gay, and I even invited people to my church in the Carolinas. This was years ago, and actually his name was Scott. He was a transgender, he's cross-dresser, I guess. Back when they called them cross-dressers. He came to church in the shortest skirt. I'm like, good God, couldn't you have toned it down just a little bit? But anyway, I got in so much trouble, and this was about 15 years ago, because he was obviously, a he, but he was dressed up like a woman, a bad version man. And
when they don't shave, it's pretty bad.
Why would any man really want to be a woman? I mean, you got the high heels. It's like you got to put so much makeup on, and it's like your hair. But then he went to the bathroom. He went to the women's bathroom, and I got called into the office. It was a hot mess. What, Paul? It was so funny.
As long as I got this up, it took me a minute to find it again. This is about the fires being lit. This isn't in a different country, but this is what happens.
All of southeast Quebec just caught on fire, guys. All of it.
Canada. Can you see that,
Insane.
Crystal? Yeah. Watch them all start at the exact same time.
Look at that.
200 fires. Someone counted them.
The whole
There's
thing.
over 200 fires.
Where is this again?
All at once.
Canada.
Oh, it's over 400. They lied.
Yeah.
They lied about that too.
Yeah. So
This is on top of Nova Scotia, New Jersey, and the entire western side of Canada burning.
Oh yeah, that's the rest of it. Besides what's in that first part of the video, all simultaneously started. And there's some videos of some people lighting a few of those. Actually, they're actually throwing lit things that were lighting up and throwing them into the bushes.
Yeah, they're just trying to make it look like
a lot of these environmentalist wackos, which I wanted to get to later. But Jayda, they're throwing a lot of paint on paintings up there in England, right?
Yeah, how to lose friends and isolate yourself, eh? I mean, these people are. I think. Do you know what? Right, I'll say this now because they are a menace, and I have been very supportive of people. They are very fortunate they haven't laid down in front of my vehicle. That's the only thing I can say. They are very, very fortunate they haven't staged one of these protests when I'm on my way anywhere. Because the restraints that the British public shows, and I'm not even going to call it restraint. I'm going to call it what it is, and I think a lot of it's cowardice and inactivity, and I am ashamed of the inactivity of the British people. Because if one of those people were laying in front of my car, I would expect everyone around me to get out and help me move them. But by the by, I am starting to honestly believe that absolutely every single part of these agendas is just a psyop. Right. And even,
you're right.
Even the trans agenda, because I thought about this earlier. I watched a video earlier of a kid, young child, and he was sitting there saying that on this video, terrible, saying, thank you. I want to thank my daddy for letting me be who I want to be. And then the dad, who looks like he's living out some kind of depraved fantasy of his own, let's face it, has transitioned this child and taken the child to the first gender clinic appointment at 9 years of age. And it's heinous, right? But I thought to myself, okay, I know that there's a lot of money in this, and Big Pharma have got their evil tentacles in absolutely everything they can. But I thought, all right, this is just lunacy and crackpottery too far. But then it suddenly dawned on me, okay, and I might be tinfoil hat moment, but hear me out. If it gets to the point, which it will do very soon, all of these people that have had like bits of their arm taken off to form a false penis, and all these procedures that these children are being put through, these hideous procedures these children are being put through, taking away muscle, awful stuff, right? When 10 years, they say within 10 years, these people are going to be on a huge scale, they're going to be suicidal. I thought to myself, there you go. Yeah, they're the procedures that they carry out to form these fake opposite genitals, right? So I just had this sudden thought that in the not so distant future, the state could well intervene and say, right, this has gone too far. You parents aren't responsible enough to make these decisions for your children because look what you've allowed them to do. So therefore, no, like Biden said that these kids are all of our kids. That's what the state, I believe the state are going for that. The state are going to declare, and they've tried it already, but not on a great scale. But this would be the opportunity for the state to say, your children are our property because look what you did to them. Oh, and wow. I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah. You think they're going to push it back on the parents for doing this, even though they're pushing?
I think they might, because how else are they going to deal with the backlash of this? We are talking about a huge scale, an epidemic. This isn't. We talk about the minority, the LGBTQP plus minority community, and they are a minority, but they're not going to be for very long because the kids are being brainwashed on such a scale. We are going to have huge portions of the population that require mental health treatment and these reverse treatments. I don't even know how you deal with it. I mean, what do you offer this individual that I don't know how old that person is on the screen, but in a few years, if they aren't already, they are going to be deeply disturbed at the decisions that were made, probably on their behalf. And no
matter what they do, they can never father a kid or anything.
Of course they can't. I mean, of course not. And this is what happens when you take the Lord out of society, when you take away our Christian traditional values. They've stripped us of Christianity. Everybody's got a void and they're trying to fill it. And this is the end result, or the kind of midway result, I guess. It's just shocking.
This one was a bit older, but now they're going to have complications. Some of them have been having complications from this, infections and stuff for years and years and years. They have trouble. You know?
I can't look at that anymore. I'm like, put up some puppies and butterflies.
Yeah, really. I know. I mean, it's so
disturbing. I didn't even know about this.
It's so bad. I only very recently actually saw any of that, and I watched that film that was produced by that guy in the States, the Daily Wire, I think it is. What is a Woman? And I watched that. They produced this piece, and they were showing it on Twitter, and I watched it, and there was a guy on there, and it was a woman on there that had turned into. Tried to turn herself into a man, and she had the arm, and what they do is they take all the muscle away on the forearm, and then they use that to like graft the false penis and what have you. But I just thought, and this woman looked, God bless her, but she looked hideous. She just looked like a very ugly man. But before the picture, she looked lovely. She looked lovely. I mean, I just couldn't, and I know people feel uncomfortable in themselves, but everybody's dealing with stuff. You know, and women, we get like that, right? Women are never really happy with everything about ourselves. You just aren't. So instead of her, you know, trying to find some joy in her life, she went through this horrible procedure, and she said, obviously, worst thing she's ever done. And she was saying, like, this is what it's leaving people with, and it doesn't change your gender. Like, you don't. She said, she will never be a man. So she went through all of that, and that was what really exposed me to all of this. And I was shocked when I saw those images for the first time. I was really, really disturbed.
It's amazing. I just really, I didn't know how they did it. I just know I see stars, and they're showing, you know, them that they have these kids and they change their gender. I didn't think that far, like how, you know, it was.
Some of it are liberal parents doing this to their kids too.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Megan Fox. I mean, you know, the whole of Hollywood is just corrupt and demonic anyway. But I saw that Megan Fox, actress, has been dressing her boys in girls' clothing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. Megan Fox.
You wanted to look that up?
I'm looking that up now.
Yes.
Right. Well, I got a second. I want to show it's gotten so bad over in England.
This is going to make me angry. But go ahead.
You've seen this, huh?
Yeah.
They're literally throwing their flag on the ground and putting up the trans flags.
Yeah. Watch this.
They don't even take care of the flag.
Listen to what they
say. It's like taking an American flag and throwing it on the ground. They're taking down all the...
Taking the wrong fucking flag down, mate.
They're not even taking
At least you know that.
He's just going to throw it on the ground.
Watch this, yeah.
It's terrible.
Could you imagine if that was the American flag?
Oh my God! What else can they do?
You know what it gets me though, right? Is that the guy that said you're taking the wrong effing flag back down, and then the fellas that were on the cherry picker that were actually taking the flag down, their response was, "Do you think we don't know that?" Well, I had a rant about this yesterday, so I won't go into a full rant about it again on a live stream today. But the utter cowardice of those men. Do you think we don't know that? They're basically implying that, well, we have to do it. Well, why do you have to do it? You know, why won't people just grow a backbone and say, I'm not taking my national flag down and replacing it with a flag that celebrates sodomy and child mutilation? Thank you very much. And then when they do take it down, like you say, they throw it on the floor. This is the problem throughout the West, is we don't have manly men. That's the problem. Right. And we don't have womanly women, let's face it, right? But we don't. Our roles have been reversed. Before they started chopping people up and sticking bits on, actually they just reversed the roles of men and women. And we've got these cowardly bitches that are willing to tear their own flag down, replace it with a flag that demonstrates, celebrates sodomy, and then they throw it on the floor and say, oh, it's not, well, we've been told to do it. Grow a pair. It gets me angry. It gets me so angry.
Crystal, I'm not mistaken, you used to be in beauty pageants, weren't you, at one time?
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Actually, no, I was a cheerleader, like so far long ago, and then I tried out for NFL cheerleading a couple times. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Now you're seeing trans starting to do that, guys.
And that's disturbing. And
beauty pageants too. They've actually given them the prize as well.
Oh yeah, they won, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's shocking to see how beautiful they you start wondering, like, what am I walking by, out here in California? Are they really a man? If they look perfect, I can't always tell. They do surgeries for these children, I think, when they're born. And they do stuff with the Adam's apple and the face. I've seen some of that. But yeah, I'm just a girly girl. I happen to love Barbie, and the movie's coming out. And I just know my identity in Christ, and God made me this way to love pink.
Yeah, I love pink. Love pink. You know what, though? There are a lot of little boys that I've got 9 godchildren. Right? I have 9 godchildren, and actually, the majority are girls, but there are a few boys. And one of the boys go through phases, especially when they've got like siblings that are all female. They'll say that they want a doll, or you'll get girls that like football or soccer, you guys call it, whatever. Like, there was at no point did anybody have the discussion, wow, do you think that we should start calling him a she? And
I know, it's such BS.
What happens is the normal hormones start to happen after that. And that's why they want to get to them before that, and then they use the blockers and the hormone things.
Yeah, and again, like, as I say, I actually didn't really know I didn't know that much about it until I watched that show recently, that film, and then I saw like the process, and they stopped, like you said, they stopped the puberty from progressing really early, and they were saying on camera, like the people that were doing this, the monsters that were doing this, were saying, oh, it's fine, we just halt the puberty and then it picks up where we left off, and the experts were like, no, that doesn't work. It's just.
Some of these people have messed up for life that have transitioned back. I did see that video. In fact, I played it, as a matter of fact.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, on here. A lot of people are loving